What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to the Eclipse Workshop. This is a very unique eclipse season. This is the first eclipse of 2025. So I hope you are ready for change. Change is always happening. It's like the only consistent thing in our lives, but eclipses are a moment of culmination. So everything you've been sort of working towards for the last 6 months at least, and maybe longer for some of you, um, and the things that you will be focusing on for the next 6 months. Sorry, did I say 6 weeks just now? Because I meant 6 months. So the last 6 months, the next 6 months, we are in a little bit of a confusing time. That's why I'm like, what did I just say? Because Mercury is also about to go retrograde. Venus is retrograde. We are wrapping up last year's energy because right now we are still in Pisces season. Now, Pisces season is the last chapter of the zodiac wheel. It's the last sign. So this is the last season. So that means that we are still in last year's energy. So when we enter Aries season on March 20th, we will be starting the new energetic year. That will be happening next week. Mercury is going retrograde, I believe today, actually, and Venus is already retrograde. We are entering an eclipse season and we have this full moon in Virgo. So we're going to talk about this crazy energy and everything that is happening. The two tarot cards that I pulled are very appropriate. These are very appropriate cards for this eclipse because this eclipse is really asking us to slow down and to focus on self-care and to drop everything that doesn't serve us anymore. That's what this 10 of Wands is about. Now, before I fully jump in, I just want to let you know this will be around 25 minutes. If it looks longer, it's because at the end, I'm talking about myself towards the end of it and just my experience. This is also pay what you can. So thank you for your support and your donations. And if you found this on YouTube and you still want to donate because you haven't yet, the link is below. And please donate something because this is literally my job. So I have a few notes here. We are going to get through them. The first thing I want to talk about is well, first of all, this eclipse is affecting all of us, and eclipses are moments of fate and destiny. The people that are leaving your life right now, they're supposed to go. The people that have showed up and are in your life right now, they're probably going to stay for a little bit because they have a reason. There could be a lot of last minute changes or opportunities that show up, surprises that happen, just sort of awareness, like whatever. It's just eclipse is a little bit of like a wild card season. And that's fine because it's a really important opportunity for us to close one door and to open another. And we don't need to do anything. We're not supposed to be setting intentions and trying to manifest and do all that stuff. Eclipse season is really to just surrender. And in Pisces season, we're all right now in Pisces season. It really is also an energy of surrender. So there's a lot happening. So keep that in mind. It's affecting all of us. Okay. Now, if in your birth chart you have, and it can be your sun, moon, rising, even your Venus, your Mercury, like whatever, but in your personal birth chart, if you have Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Gemini in your chart, sun, moon, rising, whatever, you will definitely need to pay attention to what is happening in your life right now. And all of this energy is really supporting us figuring out how to do something different, how to understand that we have changed. This information again is for everyone, but if you're one of those four signs, just like pay extra attention, okay? But the themes that we are all working with right now are some heavy themes, and they're really there's a lot of attention on relationships because Venus is retrograde. Now, Venus doesn't retrograde often. It happens like every year and a half. Mercury retrogrades more often, like 4 times a year. Sometimes three, but like four, I think this year. And Mercury retrograde is an opportunity for us to really reflect, shift our perspective and our understanding. But what's more important about this Mercury retrograde is that Mercury is connected to Virgo. And this is a full moon eclipse in Virgo. So there's a lot of strong Virgo themes that we all need to pay attention to. And with Mercury, Mercury is connected to Virgo. So this is a Virgo full moon, and it's connected to Mercury, who is now going retrograde. It's, I believe, the same day as this eclipse in Virgo. Virgo's planet Mercury goes retrograde. Like, there's a strong emphasis on that kind of energy. So what does that look like? Mercury is connected to the mind. Virgo is the mind through the body into the material world. So what you think, how you see things, your perspective, maybe your perspective is connected to fear or anxiety or an idea, a limiting belief that you're not good enough or that money is hard or scarcity or whatever. Like, if you have these fears in showing up, in speaking up, maybe your needs as a child, they weren't met. So now you feel bad saying that you need something, or you're scared. You think that if you say something, it's going to start a fight or whatever. Like, we have all of these ideas from childhood and from our caretakers. And Virgo is a very caretaker energy. So if we had issues with our caretakers or in relationships we didn't feel taken care of, friendship, love, business, whatever, and business is very big right now, and I'll talk about that later, but like, if our needs were not met and then we like got in trouble when we spoke up or whatever, then we shut down and we like, ugh, we create a perspective that we're not safe to speak up, that this relationship is not safe, or that all relationships are difficult because I've been cheated on, I've been lied to, somebody stole from me or whatever. So what happens when we have an eclipse in Virgo? Virgo themes, which is everything I just talked about, is like our perspectives, our ideas, our decisions, how we respond to our perspective. So we see something happens, we have a truth in our mind. This person just said something and that means this. Or that person lied to me or cheated on me, and now I guess I'm not good enough or whatever. Like, we have in our mind a perspective. This eclipse in Virgo is asking you to surrender that perspective so that you can shift and create a new perspective. At the same time, Mercury is going retrograde. Mercury rules perspective and conversations and how we see the world. So how we process information. Like, there is a divinely guided shift happening in your mind, in your perspective, which means what? It means you will make different decisions. You will have different conversations. You will communicate in a different way, which means what? Your results will change, which means your life will change. So do you see how the mental, right? Mercury, the mental is connected to the habits, the decisions, the communication, the conversations that we have, and the decisions, the behaviors, the habits, all of these things, they lead us to a result, a consequence. So if our mind is thinking something and then we are behaving connected to that thought, then we get a specific result. Well, this full moon eclipse is asking you to figure out what needs to be surrendered. Because if you are looking at your life right now, your life right now is the result of all of the decisions you've been making up until now, which means that you can make different decisions moving forward and you will get different results. But for you to make different decisions, you need to think differently. You need to see things differently. You need to surrender these old ideas, these old limitations, these old fears that you're not good enough, or people don't want to hear from you, or relationships are always hard, or whatever. So there's a deep opportunity for us to let go of old perspectives and to shift how we see the world, which means our behavior shifts, which means our results show up differently. This is a very powerful time for that. And that is what we are talking about when we talk about a quantum leap, because when you start to think differently, you do differently. And when you do something differently, you get a different result. Now, if that like went a little bit over your head because there was a lot happening there in that explanation, literally go back and watch that again, because I really want that to like get nailed into your head. The next 6 months, really the next like 18 months, but the next 6 months, I want you to focus on allowing yourself, gifting yourself a different perspective. Not everything needs to be seen through the lens of fear. Not everything needs to be seen through the lens of scarcity or whatever. So a lot of that fear, a lot of that scarcity was learned, or it's from your family, or it's from your early childhood relationships, or the examples of relationships in your life. That's what this 10 of Wands and 10 of Coins is saying. It's time to drop these old foundational beliefs, these old ways of doing things, these old ways of communicating, these old ways of thinking about yourself, the stories about yourself, the stories you tell yourself about situations in your life. You're a victim, you're this, blah, blah, blah. You're not good enough, you're too fat, you're too ugly, no one cares about you. It's like, we're so done. And I think a lot of you are probably noticing that you're just like, oh my God, I can't continue to think like that. I can't continue to invest my time, my energy, my money into these things because I don't want to. Now, we replace that with what? Self-love, compassion, self-care, the King of Cups. The King of Cups is saying we need to slow down. There's a lot happening. This is a card that is connected to Pisces. We are right now in Pisces season, and Pisces season really is about closing doors. It's about transcendence and detachment and moving on and starting again soon. But right now we're in that release. We will start again in Aries season. So like we are right now preparing for that. And this Mercury retrograde is helping you prepare. This Venus retrograde is helping you prepare. And that's what I wanted to talk about earlier when I said, business is really important right now, because Venus is connected to our money, our finances, our self-worth and value, our value systems. Venus is connected to our relationships, romance, sex, creativity, self-expression. So right now we have this huge opportunity. And especially if there's a few signs here, so I'm going to dish them out and I want you to pay attention again. Just listen for your sign. It could be sun, moon, or rising. It could also be your Mars, Mercury, Venus, like whatever. If it's in your chart, you're going to feel it, but mainly sun, moon, and rising, okay? This eclipse is happening with the Venus retrograde. So there are 6 signs that will feel this the most, okay? We have Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius, as I already said. And that's because this eclipse is so connected to those 4 signs. And the other 2 is because Venus is retrograde. And Venus is connected to Libra and Taurus. So Gemini, Virgo, Sag, Pisces, Taurus, and Libra. Those 6 signs right now, first of all, you have to watch the Venus retrograde workshop. Okay, I have one workshop. I'm going to post it below. This is really good for all of you, actually, because Venus retrogrades every year and a half. But this Venus retrograde is showing you how you need to change and how you need to show up in relationships in a new way so that your relationships can lead you to new places so you can get new results, and you can expand and experience a new type of love, a new type of self-love, self-care, a new type of romance and expression and creativity and business and expansion and finances and opportunities for financial growth, how you spend your time, how you spend your money. All of these things are changing. So if your sign is one of those 6 signs, or maybe some of you are like, oh my God, my sun is one and my moon is another. Like I have 2 of those signs in my chart. Then like, oh my God, you guys, do yourself a favor and watch the retrograde workshop. It actually includes Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde. So I put both of them in one workshop. Okay. So it's going to be below. It's also on my website and it's sliding scale. You can pay whatever you want. But like, guys, this Venus retrograde is opening our minds to see who the fuck we are now and asking us to show up differently. What is so important about this energy right now, and this is now a whole new point. There is so much happening in March, okay? Saturn just experienced a cazimi. Okay, so what does that mean? A cazimi is when a planet goes beside the sun. Okay, so it's also called a conjunction. So Saturn was with the sun. The 2 of them were together. So what does that mean? It's like a new moon, but for Saturn. So it's a new Saturn. Okay, so let's just call it the new Saturn. So Saturn recently just died and is now going through a rebirth, and we are now working with a new Saturn. So what does that mean? It means that we need to figure out how to establish boundaries and containment. Okay. A lot of people focus on like Saturn is, bad and it's karma and it's punishment and it's limitation. Okay, cool. Let's think about the ways that we punish ourselves, especially under this Virgo eclipse, because Virgo is a perfectionist. Virgo wants to fix everything. Virgo is always picking themselves apart and wanting to change something or picking everything apart. So it's like, okay, let's stop punishing ourselves. Saturn, let's start working with Saturn's energy in a new way where we're not punishing ourselves. Okay. The other thing, you want to talk about control and containment. Okay. Instead of letting my mind spiral, right? Because Mercury is connected to the mind, Mercury is connected to Virgo. Remember, the 2 of them are connected. So Virgo and Mercury, they're both connected to the mind. If the mind is spiraling, if the mind is in fear, if the mind is stressed out, then we're making stressful, fearful decisions, which means we're getting weird results, right? It's hard for us to level up. So what can we do? We can work with a new Saturn. We can work with a new Saturn cycle to control and contain the crazy fucking mind, right? So instead of thinking that Saturn is here to discipline you and control you, no, let's work with that Saturn energy and actually apply it to containing the things in our life that are not even working for us. For example, your self-judgment and ridicule and trying to make everything perfect or taking on responsibility for everyone, because Virgo, this is an eclipse in Virgo. We all need to surrender these Virgo themes. And one of these Virgo themes is that we think that we have to take on responsibility for everyone and fix everything for everyone all the time. It's not our fucking monkeys. They're not our circus. So it's like, what are we doing? We need to stop thinking that we are responsible for fixing everyone's problems all the time. We need to stop trying to control every situation. It's like, leave it, just leave it. And instead of sitting here being scared of this Saturn energy, let's work with the Saturn energy to establish a boundary and be like, that's yours. That is yours. And with Venus retrograde, I value myself in a new way. Mercury retrograde, I am shifting my perspective. Venus retrograde, I am showing up in this relationship in a different way. new Saturn, I'm establishing boundaries in this relationship because, yes, we are connected, but I am not responsible for you. I am not responsible to clean up your shit. I have enough on my fucking plate. Okay. We all do. It's 2025. The world is literally fucking burning. So it's like, we're all full. This is an opportunity for you to say, I'm fucking full and I'm done and I'm not doing this anymore. Okay. Um, I think I'm just gonna stop there because there's other things I could talk about, but I would prefer that like this feels enough. And I think that you have enough stuff that you can take from this and just really sort of marinate on. There's a few other things happening, but I'll talk about them in the next eclipse workshop in 2 weeks. And just on Instagram, I'll post reels and things like that. So let's just wrap that up. We're going to now do an energy clearing. And the last thing I want to just really emphasize is like, again, make sure that you watch the Venus retrograde workshop. It includes the Mercury retrograde information. Okay, so they're both in one. It's going to be really helpful for you. And we're working with this energy for like the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or something like that. So like go for it. We also have a post shadow period. So we're really working with this energy for the next like 2 months or so. So watch that workshop. Okay. I'm going to post it below. It's going to be really helpful. I promise. Especially if you're Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Taurus, or Libra, like you have to watch. Okay. I'm going to shut the fuck up. Let's stop for a second. I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to help clean up your energy. We're not going to set any intentions today. You don't do that under an eclipse. You just surrender to the eclipse shifts and let things happen for you. Okay. So you can close your eyes. I want you to just envision that there's a green fire burning in front of you on the ground. And in your hand, you have a golden comb, or you can use your hands if you prefer. But I want you to just imagine with your eyes closed that you're just combing or removing all of the energy that is not yours. So maybe it's other people's energy, their bullshit, their limitations, they're projecting on you, whatever. Just comb it off, pull it off, and just toss it into that green fire. Make sure you get the back of your body. I'm going to use distance energy symbols to help clear you. And just combing your body, brushing off all of the energy that's not yours and tossing it into the green fire. Taking one inhale and exhale. And now I want you to imagine that above you, white light starts to pour down. Maybe it's like rain, or maybe it looks like light and it just shines on you. But I want you to feel that white light and I want you to just accept it. Let it just cover you. Imagine it covers your whole body and it's just adding a layer of protection. It's charging up your energy field. I'm going to use a different distance energy symbol to help amplify that protection. And we're taking a big inhale with all of that white light. And then I want you to just imagine that you're swinging on this rope. And there's no ground beneath you. You're just swinging, hanging on this rope. And I want you to trust this process. I want you to give yourself permission to let go, to fully surrender into all of the changes that will be happening over the next 6 weeks, more specifically through this eclipse season, so really over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I want you to give yourself permission to trust this process. I want you to communicate to the universe, to your guides, that you trust this process. I want you to communicate to yourself that you can handle these changes. I want you to communicate to yourself that you trust yourself. You trust your ability to handle these changes. And then I want you to focus on that rope that you're holding on to. I want you to take a deep inhale. Remember that you trust this process. And on the exhale, I want you to let go of that rope. And I want you to just see yourself just floating. Maybe you're gently falling. Maybe you're moving in some direction, but you're completely suspended. And now I want you to just wrap yourself in a golden ball of light. I want you one more time to say, I trust this process. I want you to let your guides know that you are available, that you are listening, that you are open to receive their guidance. And now imagine that that golden ball of light, it just gets stronger as your guides, they send you more energy and protection and wisdom and insight. And I want you to just see that golden ball getting bigger and stronger. And I want you to take a deep inhale as we lock that safety and trust into our field. And we exhale. And then when you're ready, I invite you to bring some gentle movement back into the body. You can open the eyes when you're ready. And welcome back into the space. Normally, we would do the pause game here where you pause on my face, if you can catch it, and you would write a list. Because we're not setting intentions, we don't really need to do that. If you want to pause and just journal about whatever was coming up or maybe whatever's happening in your life, or if you just need a minute to write something down, you can go for that now. Oh, that was like a surprise pause game. So, puta. And welcome back. If you're still here, whatever, that's it. I love you. I am wishing you a very helpful and surprising and beautiful and supportive eclipse season. Make sure that you watch the Venus and Mercury retrograde workshop. They're both in one. It's really simple. It's a really good conversation because like Venus is retrograding in Aries. And we have this little cluster right now in Pisces, which really is all about endings. And Venus retrograding in Aries, Aries is about beginnings. So there's this overlap. And we just talk about how you need to show up. It's cool. It's a really good conversation. So I invite you to watch that. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I actually read the comments. I really enjoy that. And I see that you guys all interact with each other, which is really cute. But yeah, it supports this page. I know it's annoying to ask for that, but like this is literally my job. So whatever. Anyways, I love you. See you later. And this is now the pivot party. I'm feeling good. This Virgo energy, this eclipse has really got me focusing on the details in my life. Health, I'm feeling good. I have like an amazing morning routine now. I've been doing a lot of hot yoga, which I love. I'm just this Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde energy has had me in my feels, and I'm just like navigating a new relationship like with someone, and like we don't know where that's going, but we're like both, but it's kind of just like the separate sort of long distance thing, but then we're together, but then we're there, and it's like, woo, it's beautiful. And relationships are so triggering in some ways, but it's really cool to see that you can just like sit down and talk with someone who's like, no, I'm cool. Like, let's chat about it. And you're just like, oh, you're not gonna run. Oh, I'm safe to talk. So that's like rewriting my programming about relationship. Like, there's just a lot happening. So, anyways, buckle up. Here we go. But soon I'm going to New York, and I think I'll actually be hosting an event there maybe. So keep your eye out. I will announce it on my Instagram if so. Next week we are doing a retreat. I think we still have two available spots. So if you're interested, I can get them to add the link below for tickets. And it's here in Portugal and whatever. I love you guys. I'll see you very soon. Okay. Ciao.